DJ Super Blaze. He's in the mix. Who they think they better than? Ain't no comparison to the so-called black or African American. You can drop the African, keep the American. When we say Aborigine, it make their world in. I'm going in the same dirt my ancestors buried in. I come from a god and a goddess, so what that make me? Not even Basquiat can trace me. Not even Van Gogh can paint me. The MC in me is the God MC. Equals the God in me. I'm focusing and let my mind be free. You too blind to see. The Jews I give is real. It's been real. These ain't shots, they missiles. All you gonna hear is the whistle. Lyrically, this an execution. My verses start revolutions. For my people seeking restitution. Since the beginning, fuck evolution. Or maybe my reality is all a dream. I put it together like I was sowing seeds. So it seems this is that audio dopamine. Go against the machine. We put you where nobody can hear you scream. And sing you to meet your Elohim. My nigga, this is savage mode. It's something that you hate to go. Who they think they better than? Ain't no comparison to the so-called black or African American. You can drop the African, keep the American. When we say Aborigine, it make their world in. I'm going in the same dirt my ancestors buried in. I come from a god and a goddess, so what that make me? Not even Basquiat can trace me. Not even Van Gogh can paint me. The MC in me is the God MC. Equals the God in me. I'm focusing and let my mind be free. You too blind to see. The Jews I give is real. It's been real. These ain't shots, they missiles. All you gonna hear is the whistle. Lyrically, this an execution. My verses start revolutions. For my people seeking restitution. Since the beginning, fuck evolution. Or maybe my reality is all a dream. I put it together like I was sowing seeds. So it seems this is that audio dopamine. Go against the machine. We put you where nobody can hear you scream. And sing you to meet your Elohim. My nigga, this is savage mode. It's something that you can't go. It started with a spark and I'ma let it explode. I was given the cheat codes that'll let me dump and reload. And go through them waves like a fucking torpedo. You dealt the cards of life. I just cut them diamonds with the ace of spades. Y'all scatter like roaches when they facing raid. Or vampires when they facing blade. I'm trying to get next to Shireen like I'm getting played. You still stuck as a mental slave. You still stuck in that mental cage. While I'm making easy money, pimping hoes in style. This my coming to age. Crowd roar when I'm coming on stage. And when I'm done, they gonna be cheering my name. Drake times and nah, I ain't quit my day job. I spit bars. I really rap on my day off. That's real shit. Just give you some tools you can build with. Aim high even if you still miss. Just keep going. It's a climb to the top. And I'ma keep flowing. Down Lake Shore, I'm Chicagoan. Yeah.
Hey man, all I'm saying is, nigga, you always got something to say. It's like,
always, you heard? Tap in.
A lot of niggas died 1865. So play it high, I ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody high, them black was never on your side. They do maps to tell your apps where you sleep at night.
Let go.
They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man's zone.
Pull up. That's that Civil War, you heard?
yeah.
You know, it's free people of color before 1865, right, though?
Nigga, you
So some free
always
people
got
fighting in
something
that war,
to
you
say.
heard? You always got something to say, man.
You don't shut up.
I ain't gonna shut up, though. Let go. Come on.
A lot of niggas died 1865. Nigga Michael fled high, I ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody high, them black was never on your side. They do maps to tell your apps where you sleep at night. They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man's zone.
Do it.
And I ain't talking shit, this my definition. If being savage was our nation, y'all be non-existent. We done took your ass out when we was in them kitchens. Instead of showing you how to live and how to maintain business.
Come on.
White supremacy fake. Only way that shit real is if you do what they say.
Do it.
We the God to the gate. So when they say they fear God, now you know what they made.
You know what they mean.
Shoe song, move song, shoe song, move song. Put us in the same room, he gon' go down. Hit a nigga with that boom, he gon' go down.
Hey.
Shoe song, move song, shoe song, move song. Put us in the same room, he gon' go down. Hit a nigga with that boom, he gon' go down.
Let go.
Every day my niggas dying, they don't know the truth. How the hell you close to God, we don't know it's you. Yo, how the hell you supposed to survive, we don't know the shoot. He should've died, you let him slide, cause he look just like you. I tried to tell him all skin ain't kin. Everybody ain't your partner, everybody ain't your friend. How the hell they supposed to help when they the ones that put you in? They don't struggle how we struggle, they can't get it how we live.
No, they can't.
Can't be scared to die when we already dead. Even when your life mistake, no matter how you play it. My higher steps and we should choose remain godly. My Lord want these motherfucking bodies. Infiltrate they circles like a motherfucking Audi. Take them to the south and put them down like OG Bobby. They don't want equality in this club, they want these problems. Killers right beside me, stand full of chicken mockers.
Shoe song, move song, shoe song, move song. Put us in the same room, he gon' go down. Hit a nigga with that boom, he gon' go down. Shoe song, move song, shoe song, move song. Put us in the same room, he gon' go down. Hit a nigga with that boom, he gon'
hold on, Blake. Give me one more. I know I told you, but goddamn, campaign mix, you heard me? Give me one more. Give me just a little snippet of something. Yeah, give me a little snippet of something, you heard me? Yeah. Give a shit everybody to tap in. You heard me? You tapping in with us. Let go.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
What is it? Come on.
Yeah.
Hey.
Rhyme so dope, my eyes low. When you move like God, the time slow. I came back for the blacks and John Doe's. Crack open them land patents, let go of them town homes.
Ooh.
What's a native to a native? Eat $5 dough if he not melanated.
Okay.
Pale faces got you waiting on the savior. Sending prayers up, he texting back on vacation.
Oh, come on.
God's children. Give all your praise to Jesus, but how God feeling?
We're gonna turn
he
up
say
tonight,
put no one before him in divine image. It's you with God of Christians. I got a vision, but niggas ain't gotta listen, so they don't. We came from the soil, wasn't fucking with no boats. Bible took our spirit, English potted on our homes. Tribal families turned on us, don't act like y'all don't know.
No.
But fuck them and they grudges.
We
was something turned to nothing.
Into something.
And now we nothing's turned to something. Reincarnation of ancients, fresh up out the oven.
Lord.
This the message to the black man.
Message
to the black man.
Hey.
This the message to the black man.
Hey.
This the message to the black man.
Turn
Shooters
up.
on my roof, lawyers in the coop. We can never die, bitch, we bulletproof.
Listen.
This the message to the black man.
Come on.
This the message to the black man. You wasn't slaves, you was prisoners of war. You stop wasting your time, these other bitches ain't important. You ain't meditating, you ain't mating with the sauce. Like what the fuck's a noodle if you ain't painted with the sauce?
Come on.
I find it hard to trust the pastor who rather side with the master who preaching we should submit while getting murdered and captured about how we should wait on God. It's never our vernacular. They get paid and praised by the dollar long as they keeping us stagnant.
Pull up. Listen, man, every time I hear that song you play right there, bro, the man says so much stuff in there. That's some real shit, man. I feel it, man. I cruise to his shit. I ain't gonna front. You know what I mean? Trey Ali. We're gonna get him on the show one day. One of these days, we're gonna catch up to him. And Threads. Can I get a little bit of Threads before we go? I mean, just cause I'm interacting with y'all out here, tapping in before we get into it. It's the campaign mix, you know what I mean? A little bit after the time. But our guest's about to pull up any minute now. But yeah. You gotta tap in early for the campaign mix, 8 to 9 o'clock. You know, we be running on what they call black time. We like to call it Esther Lucy. But at the same time, on maroon time, I should say, right? Some more simpler terms. Yeah, we on maroon time, so we might show a little bit late, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, 8 to 11, you can catch us though. You know, go to the website, theautonomousparty.com. At the bottom, they're scrolling across your screen. You know what I'm talking about? And then you can catch on to us and vibe with us before we go live on YouTube for what they were screened and flag for whatever we do on Mixcloud. That's how we started originally. So we stick to our script. We keep it true to who we rock with. You heard me? Music Media Lounge, musicmedialounge.com. Tap in with us. You heard me? Let me get that real quick though. Let's go.
Stack that bitch up, Mike.
Yeah, truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. The truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't, it ain't legalized. Realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Realize. Yeah, slavery was a long time ago. How? Same motherfuckers still here right now. Colonized on our land, they ahead of us. Changed our name so much they scared of us. Children of the sun, y'all don't compare to us. Pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Talking about America, pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Even if the plant field, bitch, I'm darn. How you a victim, bitch, you a Karen. Cognitive dissonance, you don't need sperm. You got white privilege, so you don't need sperm. Looking at my homeland, man, I can't believe her. Colonized came here, they ain't never leave her. Indians ain't die off cause we here. You ain't gotta lie, just say you won't be here. How you American but not indigenous? 400 years still ain't get rid of us. All Europeans, naturalized citizens, made all the Indians niggas on the census. 1492, we was on the fences. Civil rights movement, we was so defensive. Black Wall Street, whites got so offended. Common law rights gave us amendments. Thank God don't speak truth, that's alright. First slave 1619 was all white. 1200 wasn't no continent, all white. Europe named after a black woman, alright. Grafted it come from us, do your research. Go within, quit listening to the teacher. And the nuki guy voice coming out the speaker. Cut our trees down and made us weaker. Really they foreign or the shit gets steeper. Whites don't know where whites come from either. I'm Aborigine, we come from the ether. Ruling over us in our land, that's evil. Being colonized right now, black people. Prisoner of the war, that's why it ain't equal. Wake up everybody, don't be no sheeple. Freedom ain't free, really freedom is illegal.
Do it.
And we can't get mad at this. Whites act like we can't see their advantages. Privilege is real, they working in management. Low down dirty, but they calling us savage. They want you to think they above us. All white people are part-time judges. I ain't no racist, but I ain't no sucker. I ain't no African, but they my brothers. Been lied to, got built up anger. We built everything, still waiting on the savior. Don't call yourself black, please do me that favor. Black tourmaline will protect you from a hater. Listening to your oppressors is dangerous. Gave us a Bible and stole our nation. Said we couldn't read what we didn't know the language. Kept us on paper because we didn't see the danger. American Indian, keep the religion. Skin copper color look just like a penny. Wanted our land and you called us stingy. Ain't no Democrats there together, pay attention. We got ancestors, but the papers is missing.
Give me a little bit, baby.
Can't remember who you are, just like summer. Now they got a vax, we don't want that. George Washington like president, look it up. United States only 10 square blocks, look it up. White people really the minorities, look it up. Courtrooms don't got authorities, look it up. You want me to say stop governing me? Gave me a straw man, it's really not me. Why you don't keep it 100 with me? Why Trayvon killer still?
Turn up.
If he can't, they tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. So we gon' die every day. Swear we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. We been here, lived here, open borders, got deported, fought for rights. Kidnapped, bitch slapped, blacked out, covered up, washed white. Drugged up, slugged up, beat bread, left for dead, fuck your life. It's all a plan, kill your man, take your land, slave your kids, rape your wife. Why y'all look so mad if all this shit I say is true? Why y'all look so mad if all this shit happened to you? White man quick to tell you was a slave, nothing before. He himself only been free since 1840. On recording, I'm an ancient Egyptian from Atlantis, headed straight for Canada, that's Israel. Nothing fake about me, no capping, rapping, y'all just fed the ink and I'm digital. No caveman, I'm original. Kentucky fried, extra crispy, wear a lot of gold, cause my family history. I'm the guy to know, we bring death to history. Swear we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. Swear we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. Power, only respect power.
Hold up. Wait, hold up. Stop. I see you about to play that black jacket, dog. But why you do that to me? Lee Cummings is running behind, so give me a little bit of that black jacket. Let's go ahead and just give me a little bit of it, and we're gonna take off. Shout out to Black Jacket, what up? Turn up, you heard me? Got Lee Cummings pulling up on us in a minute, you heard? Let go.
Feeling like a siren. I don't need no driver license.
rather ride or die and steal the show.
What do you say?
You know they tried to drown me and I'm a thief. But I'm alive, they can't bury me. Now I'm wealthy and scholarly. Walk on the sea like I'm JC.
What do you say?
Now I'm doing bigger, better. I'm changing atmospheres. Levitate, the meditation clears the mind. Keep the soul clear. Don't you let them use you. Keep your weapon near. Celebration is the only way out here.
Lord.
Tired of dying and burying people out here.
Let go.
I know it's hard cause they shoot birds. They pull up, yeah, they click clack, they do dirt. They go home, they don't get back.
Hey.
But they can't bother me, nah. Cause I'm not property. This is essential.
We turn up on this one here, bro. What's the hit? You know what I mean? Listen. Hey. For all my 9-5 holders, the street side, here. Let me go. Do it. Hey. Fly.
Living off the laughing like a trillionaire. It's the
Fly.
mission. I ain't gotta care. Living on my dream and killing all the nightmares. Yeah.
You know, you gotta people riding, got that campaign me. They don't know. Sometimes they don't be knowing. They be missing this shit, Blaze. I'm gonna go ahead and just hit them. Goddamn. Cause you got me in the mood. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. Maybe it's the alcohol, margaritas, and reefer. But goddamn, let's vibe. Let's vibe. We live.
Every day I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way it is. Every day I wake, I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the because they only telling they side of the story. Out here telling lies like they on Morrid and porridge. Kids get their money on phone it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We growing up, yeah, we got good. Build them assets, build them up fast. Get for the cash before the whole market crash. A news flash, just a blast from the past. We gonna smash it. Be prepared to hit the gas. Build the land.
This is my shit though. Kofi, this is my shit though. Goddamn, this is my shit. Goddamn, this is my shit. You heard me? Every time I hear this shit, woo, turn up. Let's go. What is that?
Every day I wake up, make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way it is. Every day I wake up, make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the
Make your mind up, here we go.
telling they start of the goal. Out here telling lies like they on Morrid and porridge. Kids get their money on phone it. Down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We growing up, yeah, we got build them assets, build them up fast. Get for the cash before the whole market crash. The news flash, just a blast from the past. We gonna smash it. Be prepared to hit the gas. Build the land, get the wealth, change your name. Get the title in your hands, put your game up.
Stop. Melanation. Ooh, he killed that shit. Black Jagger, man. Well, I keep telling that boy he got one, boy. Let me breathe, boy. He turned me up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. Boy, I can't wait for his album to drop. He need to drop that album soon. God damn. I don't want to do that right now because, you know, we're going to get ready to turn up, though. We got some information we got to get into. Y'all thought, I know, it's a leap year. That's what they say. It was a leap year. So, you know, it was not 28 days and 29 days Black History Month. They say that y'all got 29 days this year. So I decided that we're going to do an extra week. And we added that extra week for the man that's pulling up on us for us tonight, Lee Cummings, Arthur Lee Cummings, for the Negro Question Series. You know, he's been with us for a minute now. And he pulled up just to drop some things, classes in session. But before we do it, we're going to play our anthem. We're going to pull it up, but let's get to the joint. You know what I mean? Maroon J, what up to you? Shout out to everybody in the party, Maroonville. You already know what it is. Got a Green, Baron P, Super Blaze, Firebird, and all the social club members. Shout out to the ministry. Tap in with us. Let's go.
This could take quite a bit of time.
Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummy and broke with a pair of races? My lineage free people of color with a left make each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeeze. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments tried to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Esther Lusty. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding Ruchis. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black force is the same color the European. Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't.
Tap in. You don't like to be called aborigines. So I don't think today, but some people don't like to be called Negroes. Negro History Month 2024, Black History Month. You know, Obama got rid of the word Negro. You know what I'm talking about? And made everybody go with the word African American. There's been a lot of debate about that. It's a campaign year. But you know, in Black History Month, like I said, it was a leap year. You know what I'm saying? They added extra days, so we added an extra week and extended, you know what I mean, what we did in the last 5 weeks of what they would call Black History Month historically in the 28-day, 7x4 layout. They gave it an extra week since they gave it an extra day. It's a leap year. It's a campaign year. All, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Connected to each other and what's happening this year in the campaign year. There's a lot of things going on. You know what I mean? As we tap into history, I'm telling you, you know, next week we gonna go into a lot of that delineation. I told y'all this week, but I couldn't get around hiring our special guest. He's always gonna be special because the Negro Question Series has been a special thing to us in classes in session. He said he ready. I'm like, oh, you ready? Oh, you know, I gotta be there for it, front and center, for what you ready to do. Pull up our guest, man. Let's get to it. I want everybody to know, though, you know, it's been a good ride. If you go back and watch the last couple of weeks, shout out to our panel discussion last week. Everybody that pulled up. And we're going to be doing a lot more of that this year with our guests and different things. So tap in with us. Look at Lee, you playing some music. What you doing over there?
I'm waiting on you.
Oh, you waiting on me? I was waiting on you. Now you waiting on me. But now we with each other. So what's poppin', man? How you doing today?
Good. What's cracking?
Oh, man. I mean, shoot, class in session, man. It's been a minute, man. I'm glad to see you. How you been doing during this winter time in Chicago?
Well, we're just trying to get the word out on the classes we got coming up that we're offering, the history course and the Hebrew course.
Mm-hmm. We've been talking about it. So now that you like, I just told people before you pulled up on the stage, you know, time on this couch, like you literally are ready to do some things, and it's coming very sooner than later because you're ready. Like you've been working. And there's a lot of projects you've been working on. I don't know if you don't mind telling the people outside of the last time we had you, and you had dropped some, you know, that digital joint you did, that you know what I mean. So now you keep it moving. So anything you want to say before we show the website? Matter of fact, pull up his website at the same time for anybody that want to, just in case they don't know. You know what I'm saying?
We got the new book coming out, the first 15 chapters of the book of Genesis. And it's being written in Aramaic. It's a 6-column book.
All right.
And I'll show you, let me see if I could share the screen for
Is it in the store? Oh, you want to share the screen? Okay.
Yeah, so you can see one of the pages of the new book. It's going to be a 6-column book. It says it's going through edit phase right now. It's in edit phase right now. And
okay.
Hold on. I'm going to share screen with you. Let's see if I could do this. Last time I couldn't.
You should have it right now. Man. You got this down. You got this.
Let me see. Present. Yours is present, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you got that?
You see it, God? You good.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, this is
If he got it, I got it. Let's go.
it's a 6-column piece. This is let me make it a little larger.
Yeah, you can screen up like make that a little bit more
This
bigger.
this is what it's gonna look like. It's a 6-column book. On the left side, you're gonna get the King
Make it
James
bigger. Make
version.
it bigger, Lee. Lee, you gotta make it bigger.
Tell me
That's the
when.
oof.
Tell me when.
Keep going. Keep going. All right. I think a little bit better now.
Yeah, it's a
there you go.
It's a 6-column book. The left side of the book is written in English, King James version. The center of the book is ancient Aramaic Hebrew, and then you got the alphabet translated into English, and then over here you got the translation, and then that last column you're gonna have pronunciation. So this book is it's a self-teach book. So this class, this course, this Aramaic Hebrew course is not offered in any institution in the United States. And if you could take my class, fine. If you can't take the class and you want to learn how to read, write, translate, and speak Aramaic, buy the book. You'll be speaking Hebrew in sentence form probably within the first 30 days of the class. And then that is something I can guarantee at the end of 7 months, you'll definitely be speaking Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
So that is just the one line item that we got coming up at the Negro question. And and then we'll be teaching a 6,000 year history course where the student will learn 6,000 years of human history over a 7-month period. So on Mondays and Wednesdays, beginning in April, is that April, Lord? Beginning in April, Monday and Wednesday nights at 7 p.m., you'll have history. Tuesdays and Thursdays, beginning in April, you'll have Hebrew. So that's basically what we got going on right now. And we also, I look at it like this: we're saving our father's language, and every other ethnic group in this country has a language they can call their own. So now I'm giving the people back a language.
I want to since you brought up this, and on the left hand side, are you done sharing this part, or is there anything else? Because it's going, I got some stuff for you tonight now.
I want to deal with this. Just for a moment or so. Just for a moment or so. But then I want to deal with the historical side of the history class too.
Right. So before you do that, I'm trying to segue you and some questions that have been posed to me, and I want to pose them to you. It's a question series. When they do the class, they can get a peek at what you're going to be doing and how people can ask you questions. Like I think I've been able to ask you over the last year and a half, 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Can I put it? It's something you taught me in the class in session because I got it from you, and I got to give credit to who gave it to me. And it actually opened my eyes. I ain't mad to be enlightened by anybody that shows me something. And I ain't gonna front. I find it hard these days when folk kind of show me some things I be seeing going on. But you are reputable in the manner of what you've done with this series and what I've been able to go back and research outside of what you've showed me to show factual things to what you have shown me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, that's why we kept bringing you back, by the way, just because it's official. We don't have conversations with people that can't back up any of the documentation that they're saying. You know what I mean? When you stop sharing your screen real quick, and I'm gonna pull it up. It's a 1611 introduction. I want people just to see it. We talked about it briefly last week, and I gave you a shout out. And I didn't tell them that you was coming this week, but You know, I knew it. You know what I'm saying? So I just, played it
Yeah.
smooth, operator type shit. But it's King James introduction, and you just showed. So only reason why I'm doing it. You can stop right there, God. Lee,
Yeah, I'm
Arthur Lee
just,
Cummings. Why did when you told me about this, and now what you just showed the people tonight on the left hand side of what you just showed the people was the obviously the same version of the Bible that people today, black in America, will subscribe that's into religious ideals of anything Christian, Judaism, Muslim. You know what I mean? They will reference the KJV as being the Bible tied to America, especially. Would you agree to disagree with that? How do you feel?
well, my thing, I don't know if this is an adequate response to the question, but
Mm-hmm.
my issue with the churches is, when's the last time you've been to church and you heard a preacher do a lesson on King James?
They don't do it at all. I've never seen it done.
Now think about what I'm saying. When anybody in the audience, anybody that's anybody that's recording this, that's working in the studio with you, have you ever heard your grandmama, your big mama, or your mama talk about King James? They heard a lesson on King James at church. And
Never.
if your answer is no, then you had your second question. Your second question has to be, how you gonna teach from a book that you don't know nothing about the author?
They don't. Of this
Think
particular
about it.
version, they don't.
It's illogical that you could be so deep, you so holy as a minister, and you using a book that was translated by a Scottish king, and you don't even know the man is a Scot.
I'm glad you said that. Because, see, we did a joint, and all this correlates to coming to you, actually. And then I think about the last couple of weeks, people might not understand that, but everything in conversation still correlates to some of our conversations we've had with you over the years. And within the first paragraph of this introduction that you introduced to me, one of the titles of our bills was called Black Zion. And in this right here, it says, great, manifold, where the blessings most dread, sovereign, that's going to be sovereign, you see it in the parentheses, which Almighty God, not you, Kofi, the Father of all mercies bestowed upon us, the people of England, on the first. He sent your Majesty's royal person to rule and reign over us.
Well, wait,
For
hold on.
whereas,
Hold on.
go ahead. You're gonna pause me.
Now this introduction is loaded with nuggets. So where was King James sent from?
Scotland.
That's what I'm trying to show you. Even in the introduction, they let you know that he was not an Englishman.
Right.
So by the mere fact that they say you were sent to England, they let you know that he came. I know this sounds childish, but he came. The only way I could be sent somewhere, I had to come from somewhere else.
Right. He like that. This right here is parallel because
right. This is proving that he was what? That he was a Scottish king. He was not an English
period.
king.
He's not from England, which most people today
been playing us.
Right. So what most people today don't understand when me and you we having our conversations is, it's a broad term. I would say even conscious or even layman community dealing with the term European for the average American, black and white in the community today. When they think of the term European, they are automatically, because of the racism in this country, associated the term European dealing with white people, pale skinned folk. Right. Just like over here in America, most people would think when they hear the word free white person, they attribute it to only pale skinned folk, as if there wasn't no melanated folk that were tied to this term free white person that's tied to King James, who set up the original territories of the 13 colonies for free white persons to be here, which was not a racial term. It was a political term. But outside of that, I want to just point out that this term Zion is in there. You see how they made it bold, Lee?
Right.
That was something that stood out to me too. And I wanted to ask you that because we did do a show about Black Zionism. And a lot of people today, because of a certain group of people that's going on presently, dealing with the term Zion, is Zionist. You know what I'm saying? But this man from out Scotland, King James VI, the first of England, is using this in his introduction that you introduced me to. I had no knowledge of it till you. So, what you thought about that part? We can move on. I just wanted to that's the Zion part, because there's some other stuff in here too. You know, you didn't put me on to that I don't want to. You know what I mean? Throw us off our conversation.
They make it's a very subliminal reference to the fact that King James was he was a Jacobite, and a Jacobite is a Hebrew Israelite. He was calling himself after Yaqub, or Jacob in Hebrew, Yaqub. And the fact that they mention Zion, they talking about Jerusalem.
Lauryn Hill, man. Every time I hear Zion, I think about Lauryn Hill. Shout out to all my ladies out there. But either way, though, you know, that's why I think people get this word Zionism as if it only belongs, just like they think about European, or they think about the regions of what they call Europe today, and when they think about you know, these different things, because of how we've been so disenfranchised and being labeled just the term politically or theoretically to be African, and been stripped from all the ideals that we're the original people that deal with the original creeds that will fall underneath the Abrahamic religions. Did I say that kind of right for you to understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
All right. Now, we're gonna move on though, because you brought up the language. I just wanted to point out that you used in your presentation on the screen that on the left-hand side it showed King Arthur's Bible that most people don't even know about, is 1611 King James Bible introduction that you put me onto, huh? I said King Arthur. I apologize. King James Bible introduction. See, I'm thinking about myself.
You caught that too. I heard him too.
Yeah, I'm trying to slip it in. King Arthur. Shout out to my author. No, stop playing shit. Yeah, I made a mistake. What I meant to say was 1611 King James Bible introduction, and at that time frame of when he did this, you used his translation, and then in the middle, your show. Can you open your screen again before we move on to the next part I want to show? Because this is all interesting. How you did that? Can you show your screen one more time? Yes, please. Can you show what you just showed everybody just a minute ago? I want everybody to remind everybody that's live with us. Everybody, thank you for everybody that's tapping in live for the show, and everybody that watches it after the fact. By the way, yeah, that part. Let me know when you got it back. You got it right. I think you operating pretty good though, Lee. You moving smooth.
Yeah, you know.
We catching up with each other on this. Now, when it comes to Lee Cummings, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
No, you go ahead.
I know. So the middle part, the left-hand side, it says, notice, you know, it's small for y'all with eyes that, you know, like me, cataracts. King James, and then it says, what's to say after that?
English version.
All right. So this people understand that. I can see the King James on the left. You know what I'm saying? Now in the middle, go back to the top, please, sir. I want people to catch all this. All right. In the middle, you're showing the font, what some people will call a font. You know what I mean? Dealing with the alphabet today. It says the original Aramaic version. You know what I'm saying? So in the middle, that is what you've been translating and learning to be able to you know what I mean? Translate from Aramaic, the true Aramaic, into English from out of the King James version. Am I right about that?
Right, that's correct.
All right. I want to make sure everybody understands what Lee Cummings, Arthur Lee Cummings, has been doing.
It's just like it says, like on the left side, verse 6 says, and God made two great lights. So, and the way you would say that in Aramaic, this Aramaic is the Hebrew that Moses and Abraham and the prophets and Yeshua / Jesus spoke. So it says, and God made two great lights. And then in the center, it says, at Elohim Kart Shanai Gadel Ardium. So he's saying, in Elohim, he made two great lights. So that, and then what you do is once you say you looking for the word God. So the word God is Elohim, Alhym, right? and then you just go over here and you find your word. Come over here and you find your word. You see where it says Al-Him?
Mm-hmm.
A-L-H-Y-M. Then you get your alphabet over here and you
I'm
translate.
him, you heard? I'm him, Al him in plural, but I'm
now
him
they teach,
as singular. I'm stop playing. I just
right.
it's my
Check this
idea.
out.
It's my
So the
idea.
letter A, this right here, is the letter A. The letter L,
Okay.
the letter L right here. So you come over here and you find your word, the spelling of your word. Then you come over here and you find it in Aramaic, and it's spelled right out, Al-Him, which is God.
Mm.
So this is what I'm trying to tell you. The beauty of this book is you could walk away teaching. You could be self-taught if you don't have a teacher.
And that's the reason why we have you for this purpose of what you've been able to break down. I want to show you something now because
Okay.
I want people to see the difference of what in correlations. Because I'm gonna be real with you. Know how we are. Put it in the next joint, y'all. So people might be searching, and I don't want people to think we don't search and look at things that you show us. See, I got your book right here. Look, you see that? You see, I ain't biased. For everybody that don't know, the man got a dictionary out. Feel me? We're gonna go back to his website later, just in case anybody that don't know. But and I'm looking at it's images in here, by the way. I mean, I'm gonna show them in a minute. But yeah, Faculty of Asian and Middle, or skip past that, University of Oxford though. But it says that no, go back to the top. Show that part one more time, guys. Let you go past that. I don't know why I did that. Okay. Faculty of Asian and Middle Eastern Studies. Let you know Oxford is dealing with this region, right? So this is the language that you are obviously breaking down and translating that King, I want to say King, I had to catch myself. King James of Scotland. Come down. And it says about us, keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. Did it go out of it? Or you have to go back? I'm gonna let you slide back. I want you to see what Oxford got to say about this. Because we just had the Aramaic. They had a little thing. I know you probably seen it before, and what you've been doing with all this stuff here. So yeah, pull it back up after you refresh it. It probably took you away from the actual. I don't know what happened when you did that, huh? It's still doing it. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It took it away. Like literally, we were trying to show it right now, and so I just wanted to make sure people saw the source of what they're talking about on Oxford. You know what I mean? But I want to show when we resend it to you, it's like it got you locked out. Either way, while he does that though, inside your book, you have in the dictionary, Negro question Paleo Hebrew dictionary. Since I've gone through all this, I have, Lee. And the same thing you showed in the middle on when you were sharing your screen is what you're showing in the translation of this. So, is this book going to be a part of the class? Would you say that most people that take the class need to have this book to take part in the class?
This book is not going to be part of the class. The new book is going to be part of the class.
Where is this new book, Lee? Go ahead.
I just showed it to you. That's what I showed
That's
you.
It. That's it right there. That's why I want you to mention it.
That's the new book. It's called the Book of Genesis. This is volume 1, the first 15 chapters, and it's the book has been designed for you to self-teach yourself how to read, write, and speak Hebrew, Aramaic Hebrew. There's another feature to the book. I don't know if y'all saw this, but this book, what I do is Hebrew has prefixes and suffixes, and a prefix and a suffix, what it does is it changes the meaning. It embellishes the meaning of a word. So what I do for you, as the author, I underline the prefix and the suffix for you. The word is in the middle, so you don't have to say, is this a suffix? Is this a prefix? No, it's already underlined for you. In particular, this says Gadal. Gadal means great or greater. So the hey means the. It's a prefix. And so it's underlined. The Gadal, the great, and the yam is ER, the greater. You understand?
Okay.
So
So
it's going throughout the entire book. You don't have to worry about like right here. But hey means what? In the. I do this for you. Go ahead.
all right, now with this link they got from Oxford though, they mentioned Aramaic, and you have highlighted Aramaic, and I've always kind of like looked at Aramaic, even prior to me, meeting you, that it was the language that I felt very intriguing that I don't hear a lot of Negro or Black folk talk about. And then when you brought it up, showing that it's tied to obviously a group of people um, called Negroes, you stood out to me in that manner always because of that conversation we've had. And
Right.
this right here, Aramaic is a language that is 3,000 years old, it says, or even more. How long would you say Aramaic goes back based off what that I
Aramaic,
just said?
Aramaic dates back. Aramaic dates back to the Garden of Eden.
Lord.
Yeah, this was the language of Abraham. This is the language of Adam.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's how old
All
it
right,
is.
so that's how, based
It's
off the traditions being preserved, this would be the language that you would attribute from the time frame of Adam to Jesus, because they say, the person they call Jesus Christ, Yahshua Hamashiach, what I mean, Moran, by the way, he was speaking Aramaic himself. Would you agree?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So based off of that, though, pretense of this group, and you were also are stating, because obviously in the New World Question series, that people that were speaking this language, they phenotypically would be labeled Negroes, obviously, right?
Right.
Melanated Negro folk. All right. So that's what layman terms for anybody that didn't catch it. And then it says after that, though, words are made up of from 22 characters of the Aramaic alphabet. 22. You obviously you agree with that. For anybody that don't know, the original alphabet was 22 letters, right?
Right. Right.
All right. So outside of that, though, we're gonna keep sliding because I want to ask you some more questions. I want to just show something, just to. What do you think about that script they got there, Lee? Before we slide, that little picture
It's
they got
kind
there.
of
What do you
small.
think?
I was trying to, if you could blow it up some.
Okay, hold on. I want you to tell me the time period, if it's been diluted or what you're, based off of your study, what you've been doing right now in the class you'll be teaching. Because it's a lot of Aramaic things I come across, and I showed you last time. You were like, Mac, that ain't Aramaic. You know what I mean? So what you think about this?
Yeah, that's Aramaic.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we're gonna slide on to the next thing. I want to show you one more thing, and we're gonna keep it moving, and then we're gonna get to the historical part. But the class part is very important. I think people might have a hard time connecting with the Negro speaking Aramaic and the idea of a Negro today speaking English, which comes from the Germans, right? But
Well, the English that's being spoken in America today is really it's really Hebrew backwards.
what?
Think about it. There are
What
26
you mean? We
letters.
read right from left, right?
There's
In Aramaic and Hebrew and Arabic, isn't it right to left? And then in English we read left to right, though, ain't it?
there's a
You say
reason.
backwards? Okay, go
26
ahead. Break it down.
there's 26 letters in the English alphabet.
Yeah, that's
Seven
true.
seven of those letters are Latin and Greek.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means that the other 19 letters are consonants. They're Hebrew.
Mm. People don't hear that right there. Don't hear that. What we got next, guy? Show the next joint real quick. I'm glad you brought that up. Hold on. Because, I like one of my favorite books out of this series, God. Me and God always be talking about which one we want to talk to you about, but this one really comes. This the one right here, though.
Well, the memoirs, that's cold, ain't it?
This one here. What do you think, God? What do you think? Am I wrong? Out of this,
on the 13.
or the 13?
Or the 13 colonies.
Man, this one. These heavy. This heavyweight right here, boy. I can always go back and reference this mega revolutionary time frame. You with the what's your favorite book, Link? Do you have one? Being that you're the author of the question
Man,
series that
I
you're
need,
going to teach
I
people
need to
about,
go back. I need to go back and read my own material.
stop playing. You're going to teach a class.
I'm
You're
not
going to need to know
playing.
this shit now. Which one is it?
Sometimes somebody quotes something to me about something that I wrote, and I'd be like, man, I got to go back and read that myself.
Yeah, it's old to
Because
you. I get
and
it
the
though.
reason, but there's a
It's all
reason.
jumbled together.
We got to keep it moving. Like the new work. That's what people don't understand. See, the system it has. We've been programmed to believe that gold and silver is the secret to this country. It's not. That your understanding of history is worth there's greater value attached to your understanding of history than you would suppose.
That
Because
part.
yeah, it's critical, man. It's like we like the focus right now is on this Hebrew, right? But someone the question is, well, what good is what good can a class in Hebrew do you or do for you? It's gonna open 1,000 doors inside your Bible. While you're reading your Bible, you're gonna see Aramaic words that have been translated. You'll have better clarity.
You know.
Like case in point. Case in
Mm-hmm.
point. Solomon says in the first chapter of Solomon, I think the 4th through the 6th verse, he says, I'm black but comely. He describes himself as a black man. Then in that same verse, I think chapter 4, verse 4, verse 5 of chapter 1, he says, I'm black as the tents of Kedar. Well, Kedar is another word for black in Aramaic. So in code, Solomon's described himself as a black man. You go back and read the Latin Vulgate from 300 AD, and it tells you that he was a Negr0. Well, he was a Negr0. He was black.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad in the Latin. You say it's Latin Vulgate, by the way, right?
Right.
So if it's Latin Vulgate and they're using the word Negrita, which we know the Portuguese in certain places of what we call the Sephardic or Sephard area, Iberian Peninsula, right? That would be describing the people of a certain culture, not just their complexion. So some people kind of get confused with that partly. And what's the next God on the joint, man? I had moved that around when you brought up the Aramaic part. So I move my shit around for you. You know what I'm saying? In my
Right.
timeline of what I want to show. But I'm gonna go back now. What's next? That's next. I'm gonna throw this up here. I want to ask you a random question. I got random questions too. I got surprise pockets of things I gotta throw at you here. Now it's something I missed too. Dealing with the Zionist movement, the term Zion that is in the King James 1611 introduction, and you already obviously in the Negro question series have pointed out for the record that King James the sixth of the Stuart line, the Jacobites, were not only on the creed side tied to what we would call today Judaism or Yahudism, no J's, Yahudi lineage, but at the same time, in this time frame of Europe, the term Swarthy, Blackamoor, Negro is tied to who they look like in phenotype, right?
Right. You can see this. Name right here. What is it? Elada, or it looks like
Olad.
Yeah, he lied, but it looks like he got a little. You can see elements of Judah in his name.
In his name. You see what it says about him, right? I don't know if you know.
Yeah,
Do you know who that person is? Let me ask you this question. Do you know Ulada Equano or Gustavus Vasa is in today's politics of American structure?
No.
Let me put you on something. I'm gonna put you on something, Lee, because I know you've been in the basement working on what your project is. So I'm gonna tell you what these people have been doing, right? And they haven't even mentioned some of this stuff that me and you have conversations on this show, and that's why I got to ask you this. Present time, right? As you already said that, you read his name, you were like, oh, look, okay, because I know you would know that. See how you answered it? I ain't put it in front of you like that, and I missed it, knowing it when I presented him, dealing with a whole nother conversation about him that the today freedmen, ADOS, and certain groups that are dealing with reparations right? In California, this is their face for slavery in America. Ulada Equiano. I messed his whole name up. Look at that. Equiano. And it's showing you this is an icon of African Judaism, England and Nigeria in 1789. Scroll down a little bit. Give him a little bit of meat about what the man is saying about himself. And he became the face of today's reparations, especially dealing with particularly California, right? Should make it a little bit bigger, because some people might not be able to see. You know what I mean? Because my eyes too. I want to get this part because this is still tied to what I'm about to show as well. It says, while most histories of Jews in the Americas discuss primarily Jews who came to the Americas from Europe or the Ottoman Empire, Ulada Equiano provides evidence of enslaved people who brought Jewish traditions with them from Africa. Ulada Equiano, also known as Gustavus Vasa, published the interesting narrative of the life of Ulada Equiano or Gustavus Vasa, the African in London in 1789. According to Equiano himself, he was born in 1745 in an Igbo village in the southwest of Nigeria, where his father was a Harari tribal chief. When Equiano was 11 years old, he was kidnapped, sold to the British slave traders, and sent to the West Indies. During his early years enslaved, Equiano learned how to read and write, which enabled him to write down his testimony about the slave trade in the Middle Passage.
Right.
Over the near 30 years, while passing from master to master, he acquired many skills and traveled widely. Equiano brought his freedom in 1766. Now, this is going to be interesting enough, close to the time frame of this book right here. You feel me, Lee? That you wrote? This person right here. He tied to this time frame. You know, also he's tied to why they used him in London. Him and another brother, I can't remember the other guy's name right now, but him and another guy, they're tied to the London's oldest abolitionist group in London, dealing with blacks in slavery, abolitionism. Right. It's called the Sons of Africa. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know if Equiano, who I'm reading about right here. No, scroll down a little bit, guys. I want to really get this part. It says over the next 30 years, I want to mix none of this up. While passing from master to master, he acquired many skills. I read that to you. Equiano bought his freedom in 1766. And in 1777, settled in London when he rose to prominence in London society of free blacks. His autobiography includes a striking description of religion and culture among the Igbo of West Africa, the nation with which he identified by birth, drawing the parallels between the fate of the enslaved and the Hebrews. He mined a trove of biblical commentary to claim that the Igbo were descended from ancient Jews and that their religion was a modern survival of ancient biblical religion. Now, I thought that was interesting. What you think about that, Lee? This is the person that they are using to go after reparations for all blacks that will be labeled African American, enslaved in America from a Hebrew. But they didn't even mention the Hebrew part. They don't even mention that the man got a background tied to this particular Negro group of people of West Africa, you know, Negro de Guinea. But I mean, what you think about that? Well, I just wanted to highlight him in Black History Month.
Hey, listen.
They didn't tell nobody about him.
Listen, this is actually factual information because if you go back and look at all of that ties into this. I'm going to show you something.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you go back,
got a book. I'm trying to remember the book right now.
I got something older than that. If you look at these maps, I'm going to show you a map, one of the oldest maps in West Africa that shows that these brothers were Hebrews. This is one of the oldest maps. But I'm gonna show you this one first.
Go ahead. Show yours real quick.
This map right here was created in 1747 by Emmanuel Bowen, and it validates what you just talking about, because what you'll see is that the Igbos claim to be Jews from West Africa, right? Well, guess what? He's correct. The writer of that book is correct, because the kingdom of Judah. Can you see my screen? Hello?
Of course, I see the screen.
You see this right here?
I was hoping that you would show what I thought you was going to show, because I have sources going along. See, Lee, I got you, dog. It's going to be a good combo.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This was the slave coast. The original name of the slave coast is this right here, Kingdom of Judah.
Yeah.
This was understood in 1747. That's 1747. That the
what was
slave
the time
coast,
frame of him?
Yeah, and then
I just said, what time frame I said? 1767. He was born in 1766, right? It said. So that's 20 years later. Go ahead.
This 1747. Then check this out. The Igbo speaking people come from this region of the world right here, the Igbos and the Yoruba. So in that particular instance, that is factual information. Those were black Jews. Okay, now why is it? Bring it back. See, this is why reparations and restitution. Like, all right, so when me and you be having these conversations, because see, he's pointing that his people come out of that area. You got a book. Which one is it that you talk about, particularly Negro land? Which book out of the series is it? Part 2. The African slave ship. The African slave ships came from Judah. All right. Now, some people exaggerate how many people exactly came over, but there is definitely people that you have been able to prove, and I can prove, and you have to actually see. You should show it in your book. That this right here. See that? This is going to be page 21, I would say. Really, where you talk about inside this book right here that you put out, showing that same map that you just highlighted. You see what I'm saying? Right. You just highlighted the map that's on this page inside the dictionary. You know what I'm saying? And literally, it's called the Royal Map Maker, or the Royal Map Maker Emmanuel Bowen. It says this map was created by Royal Map Maker Emmanuel Bowen in 1747. It shows the Levites Ashan next to the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Benjamin. The Gold Coast Negro Levites were sold into Central America, South America, and North America. I'm sure that you can see kingdom of Judah setting next to the tribe of Levi, Ashanti. You can find all the information on Judah when you get to the letter Y, and in parentheses you put J. I'm gonna leave it there because you cold with it, Lee. You cold with it. That's West Africa though. That's a whole nother region of Negroes, also maybe labeled Moors before being labeled Negroes in that area too. Mars, and the fact that you really, what I think you broke through on out of the series, Lee. You know, I've always told you this because see, people have been talking about debating about the West African creed of the Negro that was brought out of West Africa into the Americas, and how many people they go back and forth about that all the time. What I think you have hit that no one has hit on is the fact of the Negro being located in Europe, tied to the line of King James VI. Stewarts. Can you pull up the dude Stewart and his partner? Now look, the same guy that showed you Alado, I want you to tell me what you think about this. I had to throw this at you because in the class, you know, you'll correlate. Look what this guy's name is. Otaba Kugano. Look at this time frame, 1757 to 1791. Also known as John Stewart. He was an abolitionist, a political activist, natural rights philosopher from West Africa who was active in Great Britain in the later half of the 18th century. Lewis is captured in the Gold Coast and sold into slavery at the age of 13. He was shipped to Grenada
in the West Indies. In 1772, he was purchased by a merchant who took him to England, where Cugano learned to read and write and was freed. What happened? The merchant. No, I want to be able to see the Sons of Africa part. I want that part to stand out. I want to make sure people get that part. I mean, before we go on now, because that's tied to both the guys we just showed you, John Stewart, aka Cubano Otaba, and Olada Equiano. These guys are tied to that organization, which is the oldest black organization coming out of London, dealing with what we're talking about.
Right.
You see where it says right there in the last paragraph, right? At the age of 13, he was purchased in 1770 by Alexander Campbell, a Scottish plantation owner, who took him into his household. Late in 1772, Campbell took him with him on a visit to England, where Cugano was able to secure his freedom. Would you say that man? St. James. Piccadilly. Look, shout out to my family. I got a family that worked at Piccadilly down here in Florida. It's the cafeteria black folk go to, by the way, to let y'all know. But either way, yeah, Piccadilly. That's why we eat at places like Piccadilly on Sundays and shit. At the same time, though, it's as John Stewart. Look, as John Stewart, a black, age 16 years old. Now, what you think about that, Lee? I had to say that for black history. St. James Church, everything we've been talking about. Like, look how that worked, Lee, in your mind.
Well, I mean, could you repeat the question?
I know it's a lot, right? I do a lot of that. I know I just do a lot of that. I know it's a blitz. You know, at the same time, the real talk, you see Campbell is a Scottish plantation owner, right?
Right.
In your own books, when it shows the manifest of people coming on ships tied to the Jacobites, who are obviously Scottish, right? They're coming into the Americas in the 1600s, going into the 17th century, right?
Right.
In that time frame. And that last name Campbell was one of the swarthy individuals that I remember. That Campbell surname is very, you know what I'm saying? Swarthy in the manifestations of what I've seen on ships. And then it shows that a Campbell, though, obviously is having a person. And as I said, the guy's name is John Stewart. All this is because of you made me think about it. I just wanted to always ask you this live before I keep it moving. I just really always yeah. Go back to Sons of Africa. What you think about it? Just overall, just what your thoughts on this? You know, abolitionism and its people.
Hey, listen. The last name Stewart, that was King James Stewart. That was one of his family members. And you can find those names on the ship's manifest in the African slave ships that came from Judah, the Negro question part 2.
Part 2. So you're going to teach all this. I want people to know. See, that's why I'm asking you. Listen, y'all, it's the best y'all going to get from me now.
Years, man.
Take the class. It's the best thing you'll get from Mac before you take the class, Lee Cummings. I'm just giving people a little peekaboo. That's all. So I need to go give all this to them. All right, that's what God Green just mentioned this, and you put me onto this too. But in this, go to the Sons of Africa. Click on the link real quick. Click on the link. So now, boom, Sons of Africa. Oh, just for everybody that don't know, see, because this term, Benjamin Franklin is who you taught me really more to detail about with his observations of the world in 1754. You know what I'm saying? 1754. You put me on to that too, just like you put me on to the King James introduction of 1611. You know what I'm saying? Class in session. I got to give you credit tonight. You know what I mean? You got me educated to this point about things in detail I ain't know. I get credit to where I get it from. I done researched all this shit. This is the Sons of Africa were in late 18th century group in Britain that campaigned to the end of African chattel slavery. The corresponding society has been called Britain's first black political organization. Its members were educated Africans in London, including formerly enslaved men such as Otaba Kuagano and Adu Ulada, Equiano, and other leading members of London's black community. Now, you from our earlier parts of what we showed and how you already just said that the steward, like that dude other name is, the dude Otaba Kurgana also has a name called John Stewart. And that name Stewart is tied to King James the Sixth, also known the first of England, coming out of Scotland. And with all that correlation, what you have showed us, the things we found, that while we bring it to you, and people might bring this to you in a class, just want to see live how you interact with students that might be sitting amongst you in these questions of things. What you think? You're doing pretty good on my side, though.
Well, we cover, I mean, I understand the question, but we cover history beginning in ancient Sumer, without when man first learned how to speak a language and write on tablets, Adam's generation. And we bring you, we travel from Adam to Yeshua, or Adam to Jesus. It's 4,000 years of human history. The last 2,000 years of human history is what we were discussing right now. King James and his crew and that whole generation. But everything that you mentioned about King James and these different groups in the land at the time, it's completely validated by history. But we'll be doing histories from Adam to
that's not it.
From Adam to Jesus, and then from Jesus to us. We're gonna be dealing with everything. It's 2 semesters locked up into 7 months. You can't get a class like this nowhere at one of these major institutions. Especially,
what?
Huh?
You're right. No. I don't think that the way that you're showing me, where you told me, and that's why I wanted people to hear it live.
Yeah, you go
get.
get.
I got lucky. I got lucky. I got to sit. I get to call you and shit. You know what I'm saying? Some people ain't gonna got that cheat code. So for everybody that's gonna be tapping in, I want them to know that, like how I've been able to hit at you and get at you and ask you these questions behind the scene, and I appreciate you for that. The Times Party appreciate you for that, and that's why we give you these exclusives on our platform, to highlight that, because you even said it earlier, Negr0, you know what I'm saying, in the Latin Vulgate, that Solomon was called a Negr0, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right?
I apologize for that. I was distracted. It got kind of bright.
No pressure. No, you showed the map earlier, but right here you said that Solomon was called a Negr0 in the Latin Vulgate. Am I right about that?
That's correct.
All right, and then I want to just highlight that same map that you showed when you shared your screen is the same joint they got here on this right hand side right here, right?
Correct.
It's the same joint.
But if you look, but there's a problem with this map. This map does not show. Now it shows Negro land, and it shows. Does it show the slave coast?
No.
Yeah, but actually it does.
It does, but it's not. You got to zoom in to get it really good.
Let me put you up on some game.
Go ahead.
You see where it says Guinea?
Yeah.
See, now it says now it says Guinea. It's too big. I can't get it. It says Guinea, then it says Gold Coast. Now you see where it says Slave Coast right under Guinea?
Yeah.
Now on my map, what is that? On my map, that's the Kingdom of Judah.
Right. I've seen them mess with it. I ain't going front.
Yeah, but check this out. Do you know close to 95% of all the captives, or what the West calls slaves, came from Guinea?
Mm-hmm. Well, they came out. Why you think? Because, see, this is why I think people don't understand what happened in 1492, Lee, is that in 1492, they say that there was a decree passed. And so that means that all the people in this Guinea area in 1492 would not be considered Jews based off of the historical understanding I have of what they also label Moorish areas.
But check this out, bro. See, this is the problem.
Go ahead.
The map from 1727 and 1747 calls the slave coast the Kingdom of Judah. And over here, look, you see what it says to your far right, where it says Benin? That's Benjamin, the tribe Benjamin. So you got Judah here, Benjamin here. And if you go up where it says Ashanti, those are the Levites. Those are three. That's the southern kingdom of Israel. Israel was split up into 2 kingdoms. The northern kingdom was the 10 tribes, and its capital was Samaria. The southern kingdom was Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. And the southern kingdom appears on the west coast of Africa, on all the ancient maps.
So will you say that the southern kingdom was always there, or did they migrate there after they got exiled?
Well,
my question for you.
Well, to respond to the question, all these different names that you see on this map, they didn't exist around 1500 BC. In 1500 BC, the only names that you saw on those maps was Bantu.
Gotcha.
And then,
hear that.
And yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit. I'm gonna talk a little bit. But Bantu in Hebrew it either means son, and the ta means more than one. So the son, but that was Hebrew or Aramaic. That's all I got. Let me see.
No, give him a little bit more though. Give him a little bit more.
Let me see if I got a map for y'all. Let me see. I might have a map that shows that. I might not. Nothing goes to my mind. Oh no. Jailbird. That's funny. Okay, I can't find it. But I had a map. This is in one of my books too, where I showed that from Sierra Leone to South Africa, it was originally called Bantu land. But before the Europeans ever set foot in the land.
I think that what happened? Can you hear me? My check. Did he disappear? God damn. It's probably be live though. You dropped off? I knew it. I know I was tripping. Y'all hear me though? Okay, I'm moving around and moving around real quick. Damn. Let's see you pull back up. Man, how did he drop off though? Damn. Pull up the next joint real quick. Why we see what's up with him, man. Text him, man. What happened to us? Damn, boy. We were just cooking, man. What's going on with Lee? Texting him and shit. You know, we live. See, this shit be having a lot. I wanted to show y'all map. I was just gonna flow through some things, you feel me? You know, I can ride though. But class wise though, I'm gonna tell you though, that's why, you'll be on the better connection. You don't have to wait for these shows like this. We'll be live and you know what I mean, in our essence of what we do here on the show every Sunday. But technically in the classroom setting, you're gonna get more of a professional thing. People go through all these things. I mean, he's asking our questions that us in a live edutainment type of setting are doing. Luckily, we like to do these things and mix up this culture. There's a couple of books I highlight while I'm waiting for him, though. Because he said, he did say it live on our show, so I can always front this out. You know what I'm saying? What he said? Hold on. He said his system down. The system went down. So see what you're going to pull back up. The Babylon, the Timbuktu, you know what I mean? He said it's a precursor to the situation, you know what I mean? And then, obviously, I heard somebody pull up on us the other day that this particular book. See, I be having books. I got books, man. Don't sleep on me. This is dealing with the person that they were talking about though. They had them in the PTR. They call that. That's what they use on a clubhouse. They call it PTRs. Ivan Van Sertim. I've had this book for a little while now. Like I've had this book. You know, I read about all the black cultures that also been connected to this term Negro, and obviously the indigenous side too, who obviously were later, after the 15th century, the Portuguese, Negro de Terra on this side being identified as Negro. At the same time of Aboriginal people being labeled Negro, some of them might not be connected to the traditions, particularly of the other side that's tied to this particular group that originally were called Negroes before the Aboriginal on this side were tied to that language called Aramaic. You know what I'm saying? And them going through their whole ethnogenesis that is displayed for the world to see how they went from their Aboriginal ways of living to being identified, like how people fight about today, and then what they call name their pantheon to a mono ideal of it. They went through all the transgressions, as people would say religiously, right? From the pantheon standpoint to the mono standpoint and all that stuff. That Aboriginal group of people and their ethnogenesis, you know what I'm saying? Well, and how they delineated themselves from other people who were melanated, tied to the Persians, the Egyptians, to the Babylonians, and you know what I'm saying? Everybody, they wanted to be in their own situation. Like a lot of people today in America are trying to do for their reasons. But the reparations part, they ain't bring up the fact that about Ulado, Ulad, you know what I'm saying, Equiano, you know what I'm saying? They ain't give him his proper due about what he stood on because they just wanted to point out that he was a slave. They didn't want to point out that he was tied. I don't know why though. I don't know why though. For Black History Month, I want to point that out. Let's get to the next joint, man. While we wait, he said his system's down, y'all. So we tried our best. We can't do nothing about that. Because I was going to ask him this, and then I'm going to highlight it because go down to Judaism because this is his. And Aramaic, see that? You see Aramaic? No, go back up. Oh my bad. I'm going to move to the fact that he was here. I will ask him. Aramaic, Jewish Babylonian Aramaic. So it's starting to change. Is he going to show you with the book he has, the dictionary he has here that I got? And it's going to show you, obviously, even within that linguistic lingua franca and the different systems from Babylon to Persian and these people that he's saying, from Adam to Yahshua HaMashiach, are speaking a language tied to what he's saying is Aramaic. So we want to go down to Judaism real quick, though. Because shout out to Nine Ether. You know what I'm saying? The Nine Ether is then the El Negro series. You know what I'm saying? We trace this El Negro back to 850 AD. Time frame of a genealogy of a people that were underneath what we would call today Portugal, before it was called Portugal, Lusitania, Septimania, shout out to Tecumseh, you know what I'm saying? Theodoric, Almarine, and all that group of people. That is Roman Jewish, guys, we was talking about the Roman timeline shit now, so don't sleep. So in the sense, because we always going to highlight this when people have this conversation and get it confused with the group of people that were Negro that were speaking this language and their ethnogenesis of what they have been documented. You know what I'm saying? And some people might debate if you are involved with the creed or not. That's your own situation. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna get caught up in that. But from a historical standpoint, it tell you in Mishnah Hebrew through today, this Aramaic word is pronounced tamar and is used as a formal way of addressing or referring to a male person. You know what I mean? I always highlight that. It's before titles in Aramaic. See, this Aramaic word is pronounced mar. It is used as a formal way of addressing or referring to a male person. And it say title, right, God? It said male person in Aramaic. Then later on in the Talmud, in the Tabmoni, Yomi is sometimes referred to as Mar. Mar was also an honorific of the exilarch. You know that term, exile of people, like Martin Luther King said, exile Negroes in America, exiled in their own land, like Negro Day Terror. But this situation is going to show that the term exilarch in that time frame, that going back, that leader of the Jewish diaspora community in Babylon, with the Aramaic speaking Jews sharing many cultural attributes with the Syriac Christians. You see that right there? Make sure you heard what he said now. We can slide out. We won't even. That's the only part I really want to show. You see Mr. down there. If y'all seeing it. Mr. and Mrs. out there. I was just watching it. Don't they got the new joint with the rap dude and he got some I think it's an Asian chick looking, I don't know. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like they did it like a remix of it. What's his name? Gambino. He did the Atlanta. Childish shit. He did Atlanta. He played in that Mr. and Mrs. Smith joint. Mr. and Mrs. here. We showed this last week. Just make sure he brought up Scotland, see, because he was here and he said his system down. Hopefully, I ain't gonna lie. We just give him a shout out. I don't think it's gonna happen like this on our platform. Hopefully, I'm gonna say that for him because I think everything he's presented has always been something we can go back and reference to. But at the same time, we pulled up these things on our own ambition of research and ambition, I should say. It is Maureen. Same thing, going back to that last link of the person being described as a male. Now, if you want to put the I or the Y on the end of the word Mar, you got Mary, which would be the feminine version of a person being described as an exiled person tied to that heritage of people. But then it makes its way to Scotland. And that's what I want to point out. And all this, because how all this shit come back around and shit, right? People be avoiding these conversations in this campaign year or the last couple of years, ain't it? I don't know if we scared of something in the 21st century or something because of your belief system or something. You might be spooked out when it comes to the historical part because you're so caught up in the religious part, you don't want to look at the historical parts. You know what I'm saying? Moorish, of Moorish race, dark, swarthy, a Moor, blackamoor, Negro. Keep it sliding, guys. I want to make sure you see that because it's all going to correlate, showing that this Negro has made his way to a lot of places tied to the exile of what happened in the history that's tied to what King James Bible version even is talking about. The Stuart line, reparations, they talk, but they don't. If you go even say that you, in totality, feel that you want to make a claim for those who've been enslaved and have their heritage tied to it, and use the word African, and then use the face of a person with a name like he had, and not correlate it to his creed and culture, the same way that they told us that they didn't allow some of our folk to be tied to the word Indian because of the mixture of what they call that Negro that Lee Cummings has presented when it came into the Americas. Just based off the one drop rule, Negro, one drop rule. I'm looking for something real quick, but you can keep it moving, guys. Go to the next slide. I mean, if you ain't pull up, either way we're gonna keep it moving. Time is of the essence. We'll get him back. Hopefully, I'm gonna text him in 1 minute. But if he down, he down. Slide down real quick. This is really for him. Well, I had some drop for him tonight, boy. It's just Aramaic. Where did it come from? And will it survive? I want to show him this little block right here. So I'm sliding through as best as I can without him being here. Because I know I've read and I had to backtrack all this. Now it took me some time. You know what I'm saying? It took me some time. I don't be just dropping stuff after I gotta go read it and go, do my own, shout out to the party. We had to go, you know what I mean? Shout out to Nine Ethan and other folks that know what it is to come say. You know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah, that's dope. Slide down real quick, guys. No, come back up. 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 No. Down, right there. I'm fucking you up, huh? I'm fucking you up. Yeah. Slide down a little bit more. Right there. I said, if you don't, if you don't know much about languages of the Middle East, chances are the first time you heard of Aramaic was when a certain actor decided to make a film about Jesus. What became known to many as the language of that Jesus spoke is much more complex than its portrayal in that particular film. For starters, Aramaic is actually comprised of many dialects, some which are extremely different from each other. I thought that was very interesting right there. It's just Aramaic that Jesus supposedly spoke was only one of these dialects. So there's many others. Like Jesus spoke the totality of the Aramaic linguistic situation, you know what I'm saying, of Negroes at that time either, by the way. But either way, it's sad. Just make sure you know that it's stuff. But he's gonna be famous for it, I would say, for those who know this. Both Arabic and Hebrew alphabets are based on Aramaic scripts. I knew Lee was gonna like that part. You heard me? And anybody out there that also, Sierra, I don't think they mentioned it. Did it? I'm tripping. No, they didn't. It's just Sierra comes before that. But I'm gonna let it go how it is, let it go. Both Arabic and Hebrew alphabets are based on Aramaic script, so you can see just how influential it was and still is to the languages of the Middle East and Western Asia. At one point, Aramaic was even the lingua franca of the Federal Crescent. You heard me? Isn't that where Islam and all that stuff come from? The Federal Crescent? I just want to make sure I point that out. You slide on a little bit more, God. A little bit more. Since he ain't here, I got to go ahead and a little bit more deeper there. Try to share it out a certain way. The native speakers of Aramaic were known as Arameans, so you can go to that kingdom and that empire, the Aramean Empire, and settled in the area around 3500 BC, where modern day Syria, see, Syriac, it's a language. It's still Aramaic, basically, though. The area was known as Aram. See, that's where you get the name, Aramaic. And it's considered the linguist to the hub and home of Aramaic. The Arameans later began to move to other areas, namely Mesopotamia, both voluntarily and involuntarily, along with their belongings. They took the Aramaic language and alphabet with them when they left. I mean, they spread everywhere where they joined. You heard me? Everywhere they went, some form of it hit them places. And they might be called something else where you get to them places. You know what I'm saying? But it's still tied to the lingua franca of what we would call alphabet system. You know what I'm saying? For them to correlate. And these people also, what Lee Cummings is presenting, that he's the Negroes. You heard me? Negr0. Now, also in this book, you can take that down, God. Take that down. It's unfortunate. I'm gonna turn up. I promise y'all. Let me see what's going on with this mainstay system down here. I ain't gonna do no phone call. I ain't doing all that. He's going to make it up next month. Because I got more questions. I know, but the class is starting soon. And we're gonna pull up his website. So anybody that is interested, always give a shout out to this man for what he's done and the work he's put out. Inside this book though, too. See that? I know. All right, boom. On page 42. It's going to say the British Psalter was found on the Isles of Britain and is now being archived in the British Library. This jewel depicts a young David, DWD, in parentheses, cutting off the head of the giant Goliath. The real gem on this artifact is the Aramaic alphabet. In fact, there are two alphabets on display, Aramaic and Ancient Greek. This was the English alphabet before the Anglo-Saxons barbarians climbed across Hadrian's Wall in 450 AD. This Aramaic alphabet was being used in England, Britain, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. There is one letter in Paleo-Hebrew that it means there it is, over there, or this is the spot. That letter is the ta. Sounds like ta. This means the ancient Britons knew how to read and write Paleo-Hebrew. The Bristol Psalter is bound in a golden Byzantine cover, which gives us other piece of the puzzle because the British call themselves Roman citizens in their books. The Byzantines used to be called the kingdoms of Arat, ancient Anatolia and Turkey. The kingdoms of Arat, Jeremiah 51 and 27, were the sons of Shem. They were called Anatolians, Virginians, Troy, Cappadocia, Hadash, Adana, Sicilia, and Zen Cyrilli. It appears that these Byzantine Hebrews walked up into Britain. What other reason would Byzantine writings with their images be found among the ancient British? The artifacts excavated from ancient Anatolia / Turkey are full of Hebrew symbols. There's some jewels in here now. We move on, God. Let's pull up the next joint since we sliding in. Huh? Are we done? We're on that timeline? Okay. See, this has been, I expecting. I was hoping he would drop out around this time. No, then no. Like I ain't kicking him out or nothing, but that was my timeline for him when we planned. But I'm gonna fill in the gaps. You know what I'm saying? What I didn't mention though before we go into our next segment of the show tonight, try out to leave comments though, once again, is this book right here. And there's other books. Again, show the website real quick, guys, before we do this. Show the website one more time before we go into our next part and close out our show for the night. Black History. We had to give you like an extra week of that Negro Black History joint. Yeah, like we don't cover it and shit. Negro Question Series Part 7. Being and biased to our duality of our totality of mixtures they talk about for those who came and those that are already here. From out of the Europe region, out of the Guinea region, which is West Africa, and obviously out of the Americas, Negro de Terra. That's the Luke Steve. You hear me? I'm a Macario. So yeah, you go check out this website though, because he covering a lot of stuff. And again, he's doing a lot of work. And I guess he's getting ready to drop some new stuff. I'm gonna try to get with him soon to make up for whatever happened tonight with this part. I think some things that you might want to know. But if not though, we're gonna share it through our network for anybody that is interested in what he got going on when it comes to the classes. And you'll be able to offer, like you said, all the series. It'll be a class of that. And it's obviously going to be a class tied to the language, Paleo Hebrew or Aramaic, tied to the Negroes, tied to this situation. See that book on the right-hand side coming up? When y'all support the brother. Negro Questions, Part 7. That's this one here. Because this is a heavy book. Now, the other one, the 13 colleges, is the heavy one too. Shout out God agree. You mentioned that earlier, right? What's the one that show the one that the part 2? Go to part 2 real quick too, because we talked about it a lot tonight with that abolitionist that says his heritage comes from out of that region that they use for reparations and shit. Even though everybody ain't got the same lineage as him, that's what he claiming. I mean, you claim it. I don't even know how they go about that. I guess it's just we don't know. We'll just go with him. We like his shit, right? But we don't tell him that part, though. You know what I'm saying? Was there a crypto move being made? That's that joint, though. Negro Question Part 2. The African slave ships that came from Judah. So there is ships that we can record. It is documented, not in the manner that everybody in totality that's tied to, because being that he's showing you, and that's the thing that I think, like, if you read this series in totality, y'all, and you read the different joints he's put out, and my questions, right? It's not biased to the fact that he is saying that there's some people coming in part 2 out of the areas that most popular people would go with the narrative of obviously in the DNA test they try to say all people came out of West Africa in this time frame that is labeled Negro, but technically, crazy enough, in that series to the left where it says Negro Questions Part 7, Swarthy Memoirs, which I have right here, that is talking about in the time frame that's tied to a whole nother group of people who aren't and never was in West Africa like that. You see what I'm saying? And they're still being labeled Negroes based off the dictionary, right? Swarthy, Memoirs, Negro, as we showed them tonight. Negro, Swarthy, Blackamoor, right? Memoirs. got one joint. We're gonna keep it moving. Keep it going, God. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. What's next, though? What got next on the list, though? Just they done messed up my schedule. I appreciate everybody that tapped in for the conversation tonight live. What happened though? Well, give him the short. Let's give him the short. Shout out to Kumse and Monte. You know what I mean? We got work coming. Like, share, subscribe. TheAtomisParty.com, the YouTube channel especially. We got some work coming, man. Tap in with us.
There were 3,900 plus Cherokee freedmen who were on the approved Dawes roll. And that was just the people who were approved. That means that there were 20,000 of us by 1906. Looking at photos of actual people who were enrolled by the Dawes Commission. If you start clockwork, you have Mayfield Riley, who was a Creek, right? Caesar Bruner, who was a Seminole. Sally Walton, who is the grandmother of Angela Walton Raji, who was a Choctaw. Gladys Ligon, who was the aunt of Terry Ligon, who was a Chickasaw. And then my two aunts, Aunt Clarence, who I mentioned to you earlier, who died at the age of 15, and Aunt Edna Rogers, who were Cherokee. So consider, freedmen of the 5 tribes are not niche.
You know what I like how she said? She said they not niche. She said it's not a niche situation. You know what I mean? Don't try to put everybody in the same thing now. You heard me? I got family going in. Yeah, I got it, but it ain't all doing it. Yeah, that part. You know what I'm saying?
Well, basically, don't try to make it seem like it's another small population of people that.
Yeah, it's not a small population of people that's in that same situation. It's common. It's a common thing going on. Pull up the next joint, guys. More. Yeah, actually, what's that from? What's that from? That's from Opie, ain't it? That clip we got right there. That's short. That's Opie. Show up the Opie, man. You know, also shout out to Monte. He cutting all these boys out. You know what I mean? When it comes to this, giving y'all this exclusive little clips, you know what I mean, of things. So you can see. You might not have known it, but it's highlighted as stuff. So this word mulatto, though, in the Black History Month, I think people, like what Malcolm said in the 1960s, they don't want to be called Aborigines. That was the thing back then. They want to be called Aborigines. They too civilized for it in America at that point, right? But now, today, people don't want to admit to the mulatto mixture. The children got Black History Month. And I think people, maybe because of the fact that the term mulatto being in a more recent time, like how the free white person term became, in 1870s, they say, tied to pale skinned folk. You know what I'm saying? But prior historically, too, free white person not being tied to that narrative and being more of an understanding of being free and owning land. Slide down real quick. It says a racial classification to refer to people of mixed African and European ancestry. You see how it said that? First line. So that means that's people from out of Europe and Africa that are mixing with each other, right? Would that mean that? Like the Portuguese going into Africa, being that they're the first ones to go there out of the European situation? There's another term for them. They're also called Luso-Africans. But at the same time, its use is considered outdated and offensive, like a lot of other terms being called, in several languages, including English and Dutch, whereas in languages such as Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, it is not. It can even be a source of pride, depending on, I guess, your position, right? This is a mulatto. It's a female mulatto. It's like mulatto we think of when we say it. I just pronounced it. It's a feminine term, ain't it? You see that? Feminine. But it says countries with the highest percentage of multiracials who specifically have equally high European and African ancestry, mulatto, or Dominican Republic, Cape Verde, Brazil, Negro de term, has the largest mulatto population known as Pardo. Pardo by complexion, you heard me? in Brazil, numbering 91 million. You heard me? 45% of the country. Mulattoes in many Latin American countries, aside from the strong European and African blood, usually also have slight indigenous admixture. You see how they put that in there too? Slight. I can fight with them about that part though. I can fight with them about that though. I got so see at that time frame though, they're talking about in the first idea of the fact that they already been mixing with folk in that term mulatto being used tied to the Spanish and the Portuguese that went into West Africa, you know what I'm saying? The Negro, the Guinea, and mixed with them first before they even got into the Americas. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's Negro Guinea and Negro de Terror. You see what I'm saying? And that's why they're saying that at that point. It's a timeline thing. They can't. Anybody that's reading this, you gotta understand the timeline when they're saying this. When they're trying to really court, even they ain't doing a good job right here though. Slide down real quick, guys. They ain't doing a good job giving you the timeline. Jack Forbes did a better job of that, I would say. Move on. Keep it moving. I just wanted to make sure they can read it. They can go back and watch it just in case. We're gonna keep it moving. I don't think he did a good job of really highlighting that though. Real talk. In the Wikipedia, you cannot, you know what I mean? Just go off of Wikipedia. We use them sometimes just because they fillers of what we're trying to lead to, because you can see a comparison. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you go to the right, go to the right, slide to the right, slide to the right. Make it bigger. Please, sir. You know, I always bring up this guy, James Hugo Johnston. I always got to shout him out. You know what I mean? Here's the one. Blood of the Southern Negroes of the U.S. is unquestionably Indian. 1937. Doctoral dissertation of James Hugo Johnston. You got to go know about who he is and know what's happening right here in the South. You heard me? Southern, Southeast America, Appalachia. You know what I mean? It's just they developed on a colonial period much intermixture of the Indian and the Negro. Slave, they had to put at the end. The class commonly called mulatto is the result in many instances of the union of the three racial elements. You see how I said three racial elements? God, you see that, right? Isn't that today what we call free people of color when people go back on their paperwork? They were labeled free people of color, which is European, African, and Indian, right? Now, we just showed how the other one showed that the first mulatto is tied to the European and the African, right? But when they come into the Americas now, they got to add that caste system of people who's going to be tied to this term mulatto, too. You're I want to make sure I show that right there. Make sure you caught it. See, that's why I did it that way.
Also got the classification of a blackamoor.
A blackamoor. It's gonna come up right now. We're gonna. It's in this right here. Slide on up. I want people mulatto. I've been hearing this. Like people don't want to be called Aborigines. Like they don't want to be called mulattoes. It's really, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's just Johnston also noted that many Indians were enslaved along the eastern seaboard. The end of Indian slavery came with the final absorption of the blood of the Indian by more numerous Negro slaves. But the blood of the Indian did not become extinct in the slave states, for it continued to flow in the veins of the Negro. In an article published in the Journal of Negro History, Johnston remarked, where the Negro was brought into contact with the American Indian, the blood of the two races intermingled. The Indian has not disappeared from the land, but is now part of the Negro population of the United States. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't understand. Somebody get mad when I say indigenous Black American. And I'm like, that means all the different tribes in the Southeast, with all the people that migrated here that tied to that Negro situation, they don't call the African. You know what I mean? Whatever different background they come from too, right? With they tribal shit. You know what I'm saying? In that time period. It's telling you this here. Tied to the term mulatto. God, am I comprehending this right? Or in totality, right? Not even getting to the tribal backgrounds of either side, indigenous, Indian they label, and the Negro. And that's not even getting into the fact that some of the Indians might be darker than others, you know what I mean? And some might be lighter than others. You see what I'm saying? Even different phenotypes of people labeled Indians, right? I ain't being biased, Because everybody that's Indian ain't the same either, right? Just because you found in the West Indies, we went over that last week. You know what I'm saying? How many phenotypes were found in the West Indies when the Christopher Columbus came over here? You heard me? Absolutely. So what did Soto say when he saw Tuscaloosa? You heard me? Yeah. Fly down a little bit more. I want to make you get this part right here. We're gonna get you this because Lee ain't pulled back up, so we can give you this mulatto shit right here. The free Negro in Virginia wrote in 1913 that one of the ways in which the free colored population grew was by the mixture. Keyword. It didn't say mono. It said mixture. It said mixture of Indians and Negroes. He said also, there is no doubt that a considerable element in the free colored population of the 19th century was the Indian extraction. One can also cite other authorities whose work caused them to consider the intermixture of African, see, look what they said, and American racial stocks. Helen T. Catero, I might have messed her name up. I'm hoping that's a woman, by the way. In her, and I'm right, work on slavery in Virginia noted that we have shown that the first slaves were Indians, not Negroes, and that the enslavement of Americans continued for many, many years. In 1903, a historian of New Jersey noted that unions between Indian and Negroes were so commonly frequent, indeed, as to have left permanent impress upon many families of Negroes of the present day. E.B. Reuter recognized 1927 that African American mixture had taken place within slavery and said Indian slaves were gradually absorbed into the black population. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that was pretty detailed, tied to this word mulatto, right? Look what time frame they're covering this, and look what time frame, 1927, all this shit right here. No, go. This is the funny part. Go down, God. Just go straight down. Keep going. We're gonna get past that. I want to get to this part right here. Yeah, I want this time frame. I want that time frame. Look at the time frame, y'all. No, go back up, God. See, it's 1590 right there. Where it say 1590. Yeah, we want people to see that right there. Stop right at the bottom right there. Thank you, dog. All right, now. With the discovery of the New World, intermixture between Negroes and indigenes of the West Indies began almost at once. It must be supposed that these Negroes from different parts of Africa were already very thoroughly mixed. Keep it moving, God. Now go down. Go down. Now obviously, I want to make sure you call that. I want to be no excuses among, and then and I don't know why it does it. You see, I'm trying to get the 1590 where it catch on. It's something I'm missing here. It's something missing here. Go back up. 1590. Know what it is, God? I know what it is. It's left to right. You heard me? It's left to right. It's left to right. You got to go to, bottom of this page. Go to the bottom of this page. Right there, right there, right there. As early as the late 19th century, the 19th annual report of the Bureau of American Ethnology noted that a considerable portion of the slide. Now it's going to take it to the top, God. See how I took that? It took us to the top of that. No, keep going. Let's go down. Go down. Go down. That's not even important. I was trying to give him that meat of that 59. No, keep to the right though, because it's going to give you a timeline of what I want to show something. Either way, I'm trying to be nice and give him that part, but it's tripping on me, and I'm going to catch where this is, and we'll let you read it for yourselves. Go get the book by Jack Forbes. It's chapter 7. The term was borrowed from Spanish and usually referred to persons met with the Caribbean and South America. Early Spanish definitions of the term make it highly probable, indeed virtually certain, that such persons were usually half African and half American. John Minsheu, go pull him up when you get a chance. Minsheu, as already noted, defined mulatto. Now look now. In 1599, 1617, and later as a person who was the child of a Moro. You see that word Moro? Mauro. Or a blackamoor. And one from another nation. This is extremely accurate and timely definition reflected Spanish usage very well. This is what Spanish still called folk of dark skin outside of the term Negro. that were coming into the Americas, coming in contact with obviously the people they were calling indigenous, Aborigine, American Indian, and later Native American. Slide up, God. Look, English dictionary now. I don't want to hear now you saying, because this is dealing with the word mulatto now. John Floro, 1611. Now, isn't that the same year as the Bible? Yeah, we showed earlier. The Bible now. John Floro does not include, just with an S, mulatto in his dictionary, but it has muletto with the E, a little or young mule, or mulo, a horse mule, also bastard or misbegotten. A little bit later on, it says Henry Cochrane, 1623, does not have mulatto, but it has a blackamoor. You see that word, Ethiopia? 1656 continues the Mishnah definition, mulatto from Spanish, the son of a blackamoor and a man of another nation. So all these different conversations, people talking about Moor and Negro, and all these people that are being called Moors ain't Muslims, by the way. You feel me? That's what I think we've been trying to show people. But people keep keeping up the rhetoric, I guess, because of their mono ideal of who they are today inside of a jurisdiction that don't care. Because they labeled you something outside of who you call yourselves anyways, right? Based off your genealogy, you're finding out. If it's a 1, 2, or 3 mixtures, whatever that conversation might be. You hear me? That's on you. I ain't here to tell you what that is. Your own tree is your tree. You know what I'm saying? We all got a tree chopped down, though. That's what we got in common. Keep it sliding, God. We've been disenfranchised. One drop rule, you know what I mean? Tree got chopped down. You was labeled this after that point. And that's the problem. And that's why people have so many back and forths about things. And when we say even, I know I'm indigenous, but I also know in the culture and ethnogenesis of things, some people definitely, when they see me, just obviously don't ignorantly call me black, Negro, free people of color, no, African American even. And I'd be like, no, if I cared to even tell them, saying, no, this is my background, this is my mixture, this is my mixture, you heard me, mulatto, the moolah, you know what I'm saying? But no, I found this interesting too. Native American Guardians Association. You know what I'm saying? I came across shit. I be finding shit sometimes. And I'm like, oh, look how they dropped some heat with this right here, though. This is from them. Slide down, God. And this just shows you from the dictionary, and you can look up them people we just showed you that wrote dictionaries in the 1600s, same time frame with, before and after. You know what I mean? The King James Bible type shit. The term blackamoor and all that stuff being tied to all these areas, right? Negro and all that term. The word mulatto is such a word. The definition in today's world describes it as a person of white and black heritage. Although this is true to a point, it is historically false in that it is an oversimplification. From the earliest U.S. census, the term mulatto or free person of color, free people of color, I'm wrong, was used to describe individuals of mixed race, which included mixed blood American Indians who were subject to tax laws in the U.S. government. You see how that worked out? Now slide down, I like how they point that out. Colonial and antebellum eras, it says. Is this historically the American South, the term mulatto was also applied to persons of mixed Native American and African American ancestry. For example, in 1705, Virginia statute reads as follows: and for clearing all manner of doubts which hereafter may happen to arise upon the construction of this act or any other act, who shall be accounted a mulatto, be enacted and declared, and it is hereby enacted and declared that the child of an Indian and the child, grandchild, or great grandchild of a Negro shall be deemed, accounted, and held and taken to be a mulatto. You see what I'm saying? That shit is clear. God, you see this shit? Look what time frame. Look what time frame I gave you out of the Jack Ford's book, right? Going back to the 1600s. Now look what time frame they said, right? Virginia, right? 1705, right? You see what they're doing, right? They ain't even, if you got one drop, you see me? They don't care. No, we're gonna put you in this. We're accounting for you. You hear me? You're in this jurisdiction of tax laws now because of that drop. You heard me? Now, some people want to get away from saying they got to drop. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Like like America Day cares here or something shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Congress cares today or some shit. But however, you want to be prepared for something. They already know this shit. You see what I'm saying? They know this shit. It's hell. It's their statutes and policies, right, God? They know where you need to be restored back to. They know you got a mixture. It's in the dictionaries and shit, Oxford and all that shit. Well, I don't know why people got a problem with it. Like, what's wrong? Slide down a little bit more. This is a good one, though. It's a good one. Gotta give you all this, right? Right. Oh, not all of it, but matter of fact, right there. And it says the first contact between the American Indians and other races resulted in mixed blood children. Many of these children grew up in limbo and without a voice, but knew their ancestry. By the time of the creation of the United States, this mixed blood demographic numbered in the thousands. For those that stayed in their tribes, they were absorbed into the general tribal population and needed no special category or classification and were not counted on the U.S. Census because the tribes were considered sovereign nations. However, this was not true for those living within the non-Indian communities. The federal government requires 1/4 specific Indian blood to be recognized as such for tribal enrollment. In the American Indian community, we see tribes rejecting legitimate members over personal opinions or vendettas, even when providing proof of 1/4 or better tribal blood. But we also see newfound Indian communities accepting members with as little as 1/26 blood degree or less through mere statements of connecting lineal descendants to a name on an 1890, 1930, 1950 census roll regardless of blood quantum. This helps boost their tribal numbers for federal dollars. You heard that? I like how they gave it up, right? You see how they gave it up? We're going to let you in. We're going to get our numbers up for this federal money. You heard me? Try to Congress, even though they label Indians, though. You see what I'm saying? Play a quantum game. You get mad at DNA and all that other shit, but you don't see they playing the game too. You see what I'm saying, God? Slide down a little bit more. You thought Ghostbusters. Yeah, I ain't wearing a shirt today, though, but yeah. Got my Somni shirt on, though. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to point out also, obviously, with Lee Cummings came on the show earlier and showed the Negro. We've been showing this word Negroes prior to with people most in their ideal of American culture being in contact by a European group, since they want to label everybody one thing and play mono in this situation. With that mono European ideal or something coming to the Americans tied to Rome, there is people here already, right? So that means that this term Negro was tied over there and going through a lot of shit prior to them come over here. Will you say that, guy? You know what I'm saying? Now, I want you to just look at that. Just make sure you pay attention as it shows you to add to the disemparagement by the late 1830s. The tribes east of the Mississippi had moved west of the Mississippi, leaving many tribal members behind, marooned, you heard me? As these members integrated into American society, assimilated, whatever term you want to use, they did not forfeit their Indian blood, but they had no recognized tribal status. You heard me? Tribal status. You heard me? Marooned. Now look, it says the tribal history was handed down from parent to child, grandchild, great grandchild, and traditional tribal customs, practices, heritage were observed. The U.S. federal census, they became mulatto. You see that, right? Right, it's mulatto. Free person of color in parentheses. You see that? They were just lumped with all other mixed blood races. You see that, right? But their voice as American Indian was removed. You see what I'm saying? So you can have the heritage, but they told you in jurisdiction. You see how I said jurisdiction? Status is jurisdiction. Just so anybody don't know, I said jurisdiction, but it says status. No recognized tribal status. You see what I'm saying? You were taxed Indian at this point. No matter what your people tell you. You know what I'm saying? Hand it down, customs and all. You in this area are going to be labeled this. Keep it moving, God. Between 1790 and 1870, though. Keep it moving. Yeah, this is a good one, boy. I can't do it, though. We got time. That's it? That's all we got? I'll give him a little more there. This is the last one. Go down to the last paragraph because it gives you the timeline on 1790. This is my last source for tonight. Between 1790 and 1870, the majority of mulattoes might be considered mixed blood of American Indian heritage. Mulattoes were classified as free people of color, while the majority of African Americans at the time were classified as slaves, who had separate listing regardless of blood quantum on for census records. By 1870, after the Civil War, these African Americans became free people of color, which expanded the number of those classified as mulatto by hundreds of thousands. You heard me, God? I was just breaking this shit down earlier, ain't it, God? I swear you weren't there though. I was just saying there is a certain group based off the fact that this census, as it says, between 1790, prior to that, I have to acknowledge, we showed you in Black History Month with the Black Zionism joint, right? That there was a group of people that were colored, they literally are actually acknowledged as free people of color in this system, but they are delineating themselves and calling themselves African. We can tell you that by because we can go back to their chartered situations, right? That's tied to the today, institutions that we pointed out in that series called Black Zionism. You heard me? Which is tied to the American Revolutionary time frame, tied to later on groups of people that call themselves Sons of Africa, and why that term is being used based off the institutions tied to London and Britain and what's going on in the American Revolutionary time frame, tied to the Swarthy Memoirs time frame of 1775 to 1783. You know what I mean? And what sprung from it, to where 1790 first census, as it shows right there, and then the 1 year later we have an African lodge being popped up. You feel me? Being recognized. You feel me? And then 3 years later we have in Philadelphia African Methodist Church. We point these things out for a reason. So this is before the time frames and other things. You see what I'm saying, guys? Either way, I just want to make sure you get the ethnogenesis of how there was black folk involved that were maybe mulatto themselves, but might have went by the term African because of what they were associated with in the movements of abolitionism. And I'm going to land on you on that. You heard me? So you need to, in Black history, understand your mulatto heritage. You heard me? Because you don't like to be called mulattoes, but your family tree showing you something different. I bet you. With that being said, we check you next week. Aboriginal Wall Street, you heard? Delineation, since we're just got through rocking that down. Everything is on a timeline now. You know what I mean? Charlie Cummings, you know what I mean? All the different Babylon Timbuktu. I had to give a couple of shout out for Black History Month because we got these books. Turn African, I would say Moorish presence in early America or Negro presence in early America, you know what I mean? However you want to use the term. So tap in. God, Maroon Jam real quick. You heard me? Tap in with us. Thank you everybody that tapped into us live for the show tonight. We see you next Sunday. Shout out to Lee Cummings again. Go to the website, you know what I'm saying? Negro Questions series. It's going to pop up. Equid, I think it's ecwid.com, something connected to it. It's going to pull up though. Appreciate you, Maranatha. The harsh reality is live life autonomously. It's the Autonomous Party. It's your boy Matt Gaither. And peace.
This could take quite a bit of time.
Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummy and broke but a pair of races? My lineage free people of color with a left make each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeeze. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments, tribe to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Esther Lusty. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding broochies. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black forces the same color the European. Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine.